International reactions to the annexation have almost always been condemnatory of Russia's decision to intervene, supportive of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, while also supportive of finding a quick end to the crisis. The United States and the European Union threatened and later enacted sanctions against Russia for its role in the crisis, and urged Russia to withdraw. Russia has accused the United States and the EU of funding and directing the revolution and retaliated to the sanctions by imposing its own supranational bodies. Council of Europe PACE Standing Committee expressed its full support for the territorial integrity and national unity of Ukraine on the 7th of March. European Union on the 1st of March. High Representative of the Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy Catherine Ashton stated that the EU deplores what it called Russia's decision to use military action in Ukraine, describing it as an unwarranted escalation of tensions. Quote, she called on all sides to decrease the tensions immediately through dialogue, in full respect of Ukrainian and international law. Quote, she added that the unity, sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine must be respected at all times and by all sides. Any violation of these principles is unacceptable. More than ever, restraint and sense of responsibility are needed. The President of the European Parliament, Martin Schulz, said that who could have imagined that war could become a genuine possibility in a country which shares a border with the European Union. Quote, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development suspended the accession process of Russia on the 13th of March and began strengthening ties with Ukraine. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation expressed concern about the security and well-being of the Muslim Crimean Tatar community. Any recurrence of the past suffering of the Crimean Tatars who were expelled from the homeland in Crimea in the 20th century should not be allowed. It is of the utmost importance for the OIC that the right of citizenship, lives, religious and cultural heritage and property should be safeguarded. It is the firm belief of the OIC that in the 21st century, constructive dialogue, peaceful and good neighborly relations should be the norm for the members of the international community. Quote, Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. A diplomatic group was dispatched by the OSCE consisting of official representative and a head of the OSCE Commissar on Affairs of National Minorities. Observers of the OSCE made attempts to get inside the Crimean Peninsula. However, they were held up and made to return from 2 checkpoints by uniformed militiamen belonging to an unidentified organization. The contingent consisted of 42 people from 22 countries and were led by Hungarian Lieutenant Colonel Gaborax. The mission arrived in Ukraine on the 6th of March and had a mandate to work in Crimea till the 12th of March. OSCE Parliamentary Assembly has condemned Russian actions in Ukraine twice, in 2014 Baku Declaration and in 2015 Helsinki Declaration. NATO. On the 2nd of March, Secretary-General Anders Fogh Rasmussen convened the North Atlantic Council due to what he called Russia's military action and President Vladimir Putin's alleged threats against Ukraine. The North Atlantic Council condemned what it called Russia's military escalation in Crimea and called it a breach of international law. It also called on Russia to respect its obligations under the UN Charter, the Budapest Memorandum of 1994, the Treaty on Friendship and Cooperation between Russia and Ukraine of 1997 and the legal framework regulating the presence of the Russian Black Sea Fleet. NB8 on the 7th of March, member countries' ministers of foreign affairs issued a joint statement with the Visegrad Group's ministers of foreign affairs declaring that, against an European country an act of aggression has been committed by Russian military forces. Quote, They also condemned the unprovoked violation of Ukrainian sovereignty and territorial integrity by the Russian Federation, and called on Russia to immediately withdraw its armed forces to the areas of the permanent stationing, in accordance with the relevant agreements. United Nations. On the 1st of March, while members of the UN Security Council were meeting in an emergency closed-door session, a spokesman for UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon delivered a statement saying that he was gravely concerned about the deterioration of the situation in Ukraine and planned to speak shortly with Putin. It also called for full respect for and preservation of the independence, sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine, and demanded immediate restoration of calm and direct dialogue between all concerned. The Security Council itself expressed support for the unity, territorial integrity and sovereignty of Ukraine. It agreed that it was important that all political actors in Ukraine to exercise maximum restraint, and called for an inclusive dialogue, recognizing the diversity of Ukrainian society. In September 2015, United Nations Human Rights Office informed about estimated 8,000 casualties of the conflict, noting that the conflict has been fueled by the presence and continuing influx of foreign fighters and sophisticated weapons and ammunition from the Russian Federation. Visegrad Group. On the 4th of March, the group issued a joint statement urging Russia to respect Ukraine's territorial integrity and for Ukraine to take into account its minority groups to not further break fragile relations. It urged Russia to act in full respect of what it called Ukrainian and international law and in line with the provisions of the 1994 Budapest Memorandum. The Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland and Slovakia are appalled to witness a military intervention in 21st century Europe akin to their own experiences in 1956, 1968 and 1981.